Show.
But for those
in.
of you who don't, Aaron can commiserate.
Welcome in. If you missed it, this is a morning of misery for me. I did it again. Oops, I did it again. I broke my finger in softball. First game back, and I broke it.
It's impressive.
You know what? Thank you.
Yeah,
it is.
You're
it
impressive.
is. Kind of like the Lightning getting the win yesterday as they...
That's a different impressive.
6-3 it was the final score as they beat the Penguins at Benchmark International Arena. A hat trick for Anthony Cirelli. Tony with the hat trick, his second career hat trick. The Tampa Bay Rays will start a series today, taking on Minnesota on the road in Minnesota before they head back home on Monday. And they had their home opener against the Cubs on Monday. The question for the future is, what is the area going to look like around Raymond James Stadium, HCC, that Dale Mabry area in the future? Because we have Raymond James Stadium already there. We have plans in place with a long way to go for the Rays to build their stadium at the HCC campus. And now we have...
Yeah, they have plans. I don't know if they're in place, right?
They're structured. They got to go through.
Yeah.
But one thing we have all known, we've talked about this a lot, that Raymond James Stadium has to be renovated.
Yeah.
For what reasons? For exactly everything Pat was just saying a few moments ago. Super Bowl, big moments, big events that come to Raymond James Stadium, they happen only if the stadium gets renovated. Here's the problem. The project is expected to carry a price tag around $1 billion. $1 billion. We know the Rays ballpark. The proposal for that is a little more than $2 billion, which the Rays are going to put up the ownership of a little more than $1 billion. Half of it. They're going to put up half of it.
Yeah.
And overruns. This meeting with the Tampa Sports Authority and the Bucks, it's an important meeting because they do have to do that. They need major renovations.
Does that meeting happen right now if the Rays aren't searching for their money?
I don't know.
I think the answer is no.
And I was going to ask, I wonder what the tie-in is with the Rays in this and the urgency for the Buccaneers to get this done before anything happens with the Rays Stadium.
I have no information on this, but it's hard for me to assume that this isn't about saying, hey, don't give the Rays all our money. Right? Like, it's hard to imagine that it's not related. Now, I think that smart minds should be able to come together. Maybe there's a way to get it all incorporated into one big package, right? Again, this is way over my head. Maybe this is something we should bring Ken Hagan on to talk about. Speaking of the OG, like, is it possible that maybe we're able to come up with some brilliant plan? Not like us, me and you, because we're not brilliant, but those people who are. Maybe there's a plan. Ken Babby seems pretty brilliant when I listen to him speak. Maybe there's a plan that figures it all out, right? That figures out how to pay for a renovation to Raymond James Stadium, which is good for everyone, and a new ballpark, which, again, is good for everyone.
We already saw renovations about 10 years ago or so, $160 million. I remember being on the air with you, Pat, talking about those renovations at the time. At the time, Hillsborough County contributed almost $30 million to that. We saw state-of-the-art video boards.
Which is nothing compared to what we're talking about now, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
State-of-the-art video boards, renovations to the clubs, East and West, the luxury suites, locker room, team store, all that was upgraded.
Yep. Locker room in a major way, too. Like,
What more renovations do you need to make this such a destination for a Super Bowl that you have to put $1 billion into this?
I think it's upgrading the technology and making it, again, more state-of-the-art because technology changes so often. I think in large part, my expectation, and I don't know this, I think they're going to look for something like they put up in Miami. I think they're going to look for something that creates more shade over the stadium and makes it a better game day experience for fans.
That would be much better. They've also talked about using kind of creating a mixed-use development around that area as well. So I understand some of the moves being made and why they want to be made. I still personally think the urgency to get the Rays Stadium done is more important, even if that means forfeiting Super Bowls for a little while, which I know sucks. And I want those big events to come to town, and it only benefits everybody around town, like we've talked about, like you just mentioned. But also, I know how important I feel baseball is going to be here long term, and you got to get that stadium done now for the Rays.
I, without question, agree with you. And you know me, and I don't have to be more clear about it probably if you listen to the show. Like, I am football first all the time. The Buccaneers, for me, are much more important than the Rays in the grand scheme of things. However, a Rays ballpark is much more important than upgrades to Raymond James Stadium to me, right? Like, yes, I love football more, but if it's an upgraded stadium at Raymond James and no baseball, or baseball and the Bucks got to suffer for a little while with a stadium that's already awesome, like, yeah, I would much rather have our baseball team. Hey, I'll be honest with you. If the argument was the Trop location is where they're going to build a new ballpark, and then the Bucks get the renovations, or the Rays are in Tampa and the Bucks don't get the renovations, I'd still choose the Rays in Tampa because it ain't right in St. Pete. It's not supposed to be there.
No.
It doesn't belong there. They need the new stadium to be where they want it to be. And even if it was a new stadium in St. Pete, I would choose the stadium in Tampa, even though I love football that much more, because I think it's that important for the Rays to be put in a place where they can be successful. But to me, I think, oh, wow, the Bucks want to do awesome stuff around Raymond James Stadium. The Rays want to do awesome stuff across the street. How about we just do all the awesome stuff? And I know there's a lot of money that's going to have to be
$2 billion
found to pay for all that, right? But let's find it. I'll bet you we could find $2 billion by just cutting out bull that we spend money on. And I know there's things we don't spend enough money on, like schooling and some of that stuff. I'm not saying we shouldn't. But there's also money, I guarantee you, that we blow every year on nonsense. Let's pull some of that back a little bit.
Yeah, but on top of that, the Glazers are going to be making a ton of money if they on the upgrades and the mixed-use development. So, and I'm assuming, yeah, it's just gonna transform everything. And I think it's important when we talk about the Rays, what they're gonna be doing. That whole area can turn into its own little city, which is gonna be awesome for everybody. But when it comes to the Buccaneers and these renovations, I would expect the Glazers to be putting up a lot of this because you're going to benefit in the long run. If we're talking about a project that's going to help 30 to 50 years, I don't know how long the Glazers plan to keep this thing in the family, but it's been in for a long time now. They want to keep this thing going. There could be a lot of money here.
No doubt about it. And I don't want them to get just richer and richer and richer. Like, that's the concern for a lot of people, is these people just get richer and richer and richer while we go broke. I obviously don't want that to be the case.